When you say, I want Canelo, is there anybody in the camp that would say, you're not ready for this?
That's a big boy. He's strong. That's a conversation. It's not just, oh man, you will whoop his ass.
Like yes, man type stuff.
Yeah, I'm not worried about Canelo. I'm not thinking about Canelo. I'm just focused on Israel Majimov.
In a small way, is this a stepping stone to your dream fight?
I don't look at fights as stepping stones. It's about now.
Boxing fans have long debated the possibility of a fight between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. Although Canelo has solidified his status as one of the sport's best, dominating in a number of weight classes, there is a growing belief that Crawford's skill set may be too much for the Mexican superstar, who has already demonstrated that he can destroy opponents with his unconventional style, exceptional footwork, and ability to adapt to any opponent. Some of the greatest fighters—
Your opinion, who's the best fighter in the world?
We can't put Tank up there in the top 10 in pound for pound. He has to be somewhere in pound for pound. And Canelo done something that is amazing when Canelo was able to go to light heavyweight and become light heavyweight champion, something that I didn't even see him going up that heavy, and he did that. So, but as of right now, I have to put Terence Crawford as number one.
Terence. Many people consider Crawford, sometimes known as Bud, to be among the world's top pound-for-pound boxers. His technical skill, adaptability, and capacity to switch tactics make him a dangerous foe. Crawford's stellar 4,100 professional record demonstrates his supremacy.
5 fighters right now in boxing. That's your top 5 right now in boxing. Not your, the top 5 in boxing right now. Right now.
Champions or just anybody?
Top 5 right
anybody.
now.
Shakur #1, hands down. Tank, he up there. Canelo, in a way. Tyson Fury.
Demonstrated that he can perform well in heavier weight classes, and his strength, agility, and experience make him a formidable opponent for anybody who pays attention. Canelo must realize that he is a different fighter now that his condition has deteriorated.
Canelo needs to understand he's a different fighter now. The deterioration is there. He's not the same guy. He's not that destroyer who's looking for knockouts early and keeps a pace and a pressure on you. He throws 30 punches around. You're not the same guy. So telling everyone you're going to knock them out and then going into, 6 decisions in a row now? Scores a knockdown every time. Power's still there. The problem is the pace and the ability to carry on and push. That's the real difference, and that comes with age. He's 34 going on 45 at this, as far as I'm concerned. He's got a ton of fights, he's been around for a long time, doesn't have that same desire, the same drive to take the chances against these younger, bigger guys, because he is fighting younger, bigger guys.
Canelo, and he was like standing right in front of Canelo, and Canelo's just whiffing. It was a life lesson. And then you look at how good Canelo's head movement got after that fight when he realized it. I mean, my God, when he Danny Jacobs, and Canelo's just standing right in front of him, bobbing. That's all what he learned from fighting Floyd.
Floyd Canelo lists victories over some of the athletes, and his adaptability and talent are demonstrated by his ability to compete in a variety of weight classes. Canelo's strength, especially in the super middleweight division, is a major contributor to his domination. He is a dangerous opponent because of his capacity to land deadly blows and deflect oncoming strikes.
You fought Floyd Mayweather at what? Were you 23?
23.
That's so fucking young.
Yeah.
What was that like?
I trained so hard, and now obviously I try to beat him because, you know, if you beat him, you want to be the best in the world at 23.
What do you think was so impressive about him?
His experience, he's so smart. He have everything in a fighter, a complete fighter. He don't have power in the punches, but when you that kind of fighter, you don't need it.
You think that was the toughest fight you faced?
No.
What do you
I think
was?
it's tough fights and difficult fights. That was a difficult.
Canelo is beating these guys with all 5 layers of defense. Number 1, feet. Number 2, elbows, hands, shoulders, and the mind. This is exactly how both of those guys got to the highest level of boxing supremacy. Canelo Alvarez means to the Mexican fans what Floyd Money Mayweather meant for black people. 50 wins in boxing, no losses, no draws.
Plan in the ring, as evidenced by his most recent victory over Edgar Berlanga in the super middleweight division. Solidifies his reputation as a top-tier fighter. I'll say that he is the hardest for sure. Angulo, who is Cuban, was one of the fighters who hit very hard. He also punched very hard, so I'll say that both of them are similar. However, with Canelo,
I'll say he is the hardest for sure. One of the fighters that hit very hard was Angulo. You know, he's a Cuban guy and he punched very hard too. So I'll say both of them are like the same, but you know, with Canelo, I was just mentally ready for his shots. You know, I already told myself, I know I'm gonna get hit. I know I'm gonna get hit on my chin, but it's, you know, I gotta bite down on my mouthpiece and push. You know, and look what happened in the third round. I got hit with a left hook. We'd be practicing in camp the whole time, you know, keeping my right hand to my chin, and I wound up just moving, and he connected right on my chin. And you see how I punched my glove, you know, that's like a thing for me when I, you know, my last time when I got dropped, I was punching my gloves, because I'm like, damn, I got hit with a shot. I'm not supposed to be on the floor. But, you know, it comes to boxing. You know, the greats done got dropped, you know, got hurt. But it's about how you come back and respond.
Of the world, Mexico versus Puerto Rico, Saul Canelo Alvarez versus the chosen one, Edgar Berlanga.
Canelo win the fight is his size and weight advantage. My good friend Terence Crawford wants to fight Canelo, so I'm curious about your professional opinion based on your knowledge of Canelo's fighting style and what he's like in the ring. I know you haven't been in the ring with Terence, but what do you think of that fight? I genuinely think you know that anything can happen, and you know what I mean when I say that Terence Crawford is a legend and a great fighter. The only reason I think I prefer Canelo is that, well, he's bigger and heavier, but in terms of skill set and IQ, I feel like I could outshine anyone and probably do much better.
My good friend, my brother, Terence Crawford, wants to fight Canelo.
Yeah.
Just from your expert opinion, knowing how Canelo fights, what he's like in the ring, I know you haven't been in the ring with Terence, but what do you think of that fight?
I truly believe, you know, that, you know, anything can happen in boxing, you know what I'm saying? And Terence Crawford is a legend. He's great. He's a great fighter. The only thing I see that I favor Canelo is that, you know, is his weight.
Yeah.
And that he's more bigger. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing. But as far as skill set wise, IQ, I feel like Crawford can match anybody and probably do way better. You know what I'm saying? But you know, Crawford is a legend.
That his strength would translate to higher weight classes. He thinks it would be extremely difficult for Crawford to defeat Canelo if he had to go up 2 weight classes. I can't really say anything about it because if that's what he wants to do, he will do it.
So there's talk too of like Canelo and Crawford. Like you're mentioning that you feel like David's just too big, too young, just too much overall. Like, is that kind of the same thing with the Crawford and Canelo because of the weight classes, the weight between them?
Yeah, I believe so. Listen, I love Crawford. He's a good friend. You know, we reach out to each other. We've been travel the world through the amateur program. He see me beat people up. I see him beat people up. He see me get beat up. I got beat up. We both, whatever, everybody.
47 PBS division. Although he is regarded as a potential threat to Canelo, a fight between the two hasn't yet occurred, but I'm the face of a pay, but Crawford didn't perform well at 54.
I mean, I can't really say nothing about that. If that's what he wants to do, then that's what he's going to do. Canelo is a man that he does anything he wants to do. I don't think really what people say affects him. But I feel like the people, they want to see David Benavidez versus Canelo Alvarez. It's the biggest fight to make happen, and I feel like I'm the biggest threat to him.
For his final bout, Canelo Crawford upped his weight to 154 pounds and defeated Israel Madoff by decision. Nonetheless, he would have to take on even more formidable opponents if he wanted to go to super middle. Crawford, Terence, he's made it apparent that he wants to fight. Do you think that kind of fight adds value to your legacy, or do you think it's not worth it? For me, every battle I've had in my career has improved and changed my legacy.
I want to fight Canelo Alvarez.
I'm the face of boxing.
Crawford wanted a payday, but Crawford didn't do good at 54. When I talk to people, they all tell me you would have knocked him out at 68.
Well, he knows now. He experimented the 154, and he knows. Maybe he do in 168 for a big check.
Which is amazing, especially when fighting. You can see the confidence, but I don't think it's genuine. It's phony. No one knew who would win in the end. It is impossible to overstate Canelo's strength and expertise at heavier weight classes, His capacity to take hits and land strong counterpunches makes him.
I see he wants to fight. He's made it clear. Do fights like that help your legacy, or do you feel like that's something that's not worth it to you?
Everything in my career, every fight make my legacy different and better. No, Terence Crawford is a great fighter. He's a good fighter, but you know, like I say, he's weight classes for a reason. I'm focused 100% on Berlanga, and you never know what happens.
The definition of boxing, the martial arts of boxing, and then return with your thoughts because that's not all that boxing is about.